Okay, so in the last lecture, we had discussed about the basic concepts about piecemeal distribution. Uh, what is piecemeal distribution and how, in which order the piecemeal distribution is being, the money is being distributed among the outside liabilities and the partners. Now, as of partners are concerned, partners we discussed only about payment to partners loans, because when it comes to partners there might be two things that we all need to do, and that is payment of partners loan and payment of partners capital. So in the last lecture we discussed about payment of partners loan. Today we are going to discuss about payment of partners capital. So when it comes to payment of partners capital, I'll come to the PPT later. I just wanted to have some concepts clear with you all regarding how should the payment be made to the partners. Okay, so I just wanted to know whether when we talk about the payment to partners capital, since there are many partners, what ratio should we use to distribute the cash that is left after payment of liabilities and the loans to the partners? So the money which is left with us after payment of liabilities and the partners loan, if any, the remaining cash has to be distributed to the partners against their capital balances. So what should be the ratio in which we must distribute the cash amongst the partners? So basically my question for you all is, how should be the money distributed amongst the partners? Should be it capital ratio? Should it be the profit sharing ratio or something like that? Okay, so if you go for capital ratios, if you think about the capital ratios, okay, if you're talking about the capital ratios, let's analyze and see how the things go. Okay, let's have an illustrative example for that. Supposing there is a partnership firm. A partnership firm is being dissolved. Okay, a partnership firm is being dissolved. So supposing there are three partners, A, B and C in the business. There are three partners. I'll just give you a short detail about them. The capital balances first. Now when I'm talking about capital balances, say suppose for example A has capital of rupees say 1 lakh, B has a capital of say rupees 60,000, and C has a capital of say rupees 40,000. Okay, so these are the capital balances of the partners. I'll just give you the profit sharing ratio as well. The profit sharing ratio is say 3 is to 2 is to 1. Okay, and we need one more detail, and that is the cash available available for distribution. Okay, so cash available for distribution, say rupees 90,000 is left with us. So there is a partnership firm that is being dissolved. There are three partners in that partnership firm, A, B and C. The capital balances of partners for A is 1 lakh rupees, for B is 60,000 rupees, and for C is 40,000 rupees. Okay, the profit sharing ratio is 3 is to 2 is to 1. Now the cash available for distribution is say 90,000, means this cash is available with us after paying off the liabilities and the loans, if any, of the partners. Okay, so this is the cash left with us. Now my question is, this 90,000 has to be distributed to A, B and C. Now what ratio I should use while distributing the cash? Now for instance, if we go for the profit sharing ratio or capital ratio, the main question arises here is, which ratio should we use, the profit sharing ratio or the capital ratio? So let's quickly see for the ratios. Let's see. Okay, so in case of, let's go with the capital ratio. Many of you might go for capital ratio or going for the capital ratio. So let's see what happens if we go for distribution of this 90,000 rupees in capital ratio. I'll just say that if cash is to be distributed in capital ratio. So let's see how the thing goes. I'll just prepare one table for you all. Give me one moment for the formatting. So yes. Let's see. All right, so I'm good to go. Particulars, these are the names of three partners, that is A, B, C. Since we are going for the capital ratio, let's see the capital balances first. Let us write the capital balances first. Now for A, the capital balance is 1 lakh rupees. For B, it's 60,000 rupees. And for C, it's 40,000 rupees. Correct? Now, we need to pay this 90,000 rupees. Now, since you are saying that you should distribute this cash in capital ratio, so less cash paid, obviously, in capital ratio, and that capital ratio we all know, it's what we have is 532 is the capital ratio. Correct? So the capital ratio is 5:3:2. Great. So the cash that we are paying to A would be, quickly yes, the people are here with the answers. So it's 45,000 for A, 27,000 for B and 18,000 for C. Right? So what is the cash balances unpaid? Now what is the balance unpaid in this case? So for A, it would be 55,000. For B, it would be 33,000. And for C, it is 22,000. Correct? Okay. Just tell me what is the total cash unpaid, the total of these three things. These total of this 55, 30, 110. All right. So it's 1 minute. So it is 1,10,000 is the amount unpaid. Obviously, the total of capital balances was 2 lakhs. We had 90,000 with us. So the cash unpaid should be 1 lakh. That's quite simple, quite clear. Yes, that's good enough. Okay. Now tell me one thing. This is the balance unpaid to the partners, which means this is the loss for each partner. This 55,000 is loss. That means he's not getting that 55,000, right? He's not even getting B is not getting 33,000 and C is not getting 22,000. So that means this all amounts are the loss of the respective partners. So what is the ratio of this? What is the loss ratio in this case? What is the loss ratio in this case? It's 5:3:2. Correct? A had a loss of 55,000. B had a loss of 33,000. C had a loss of 22,000. So this is the ratio of the loss: 5, 3, 2. Yes or no? Correct? But tell me one thing, the loss should be in which ratio? The capital ratio, that is the 5:3:2, or the profit sharing ratio, which is 3:1? What am I trying to ask to you all is, if in case there is loss to any partner, if there is loss to the partners, the loss must be distributed in which ratio? The capital ratio, the 5:3:2, which is obviously same to the capital ratio. So must it come in the ratio of 5:3:2, or it should come in the profit sharing ratio of 3:1? Basically and obviously the profit sharing ratio 3:2:1. So here the loss is in the ratio of 5:3:2, but I want the loss to be in the ratio of 3:1. So that means if I'm distributing cash in the capital ratio, I'm not getting a correct loss figure. The loss figure is incorrect. Yes or no? You getting it what I'm trying to say? The loss as per distribution in capital ratio is in the ratio of 5:3:2, which is obviously incorrect. We want it in the ratio of 3:1. So this is, I guess, something which is not acceptable. We cannot go with this. Sorry, this is not correct. Okay, we have one more option: distribution of cash in profit sharing ratio. Let us see if we distribute this 90,000 rupees in profit sharing ratio. How can we do that? Let's see. So if cash is to be distributed in profit sharing ratio, what happens in this case? We'll have the same table, the exactly same table. I'll just wipe off the amounts from here. So again, the capital balances of the partners are 1 lakh, 60,000 and 40,000. Now this time we are paying this 90,000 that we are supposed to distribute this 90,000 in cash paid. Now this time it's in TSR, which is 3:2:1. So this time we are paying the cash in 3:1, and the amounts in this case would be 45,000 for A, same as before, 30,000 for B, and 15,000 for C. So the cash unpaid again is 55,000 for A, 30,000 for B, and 25,000 for C. Now the point is, you will get the same amount. The total cash unpaid is still 1,10,000 only. Correct? Now tell me, what is the loss ratio in this case? The loss ratio for y'all, it's 55, 30, 25, and if you simplify, it's 11, 6, 5. How 3:1? It's not 3:1, obviously. It is not 3:1. How it is 3:1? 55, 30, 25. Simplify, you'll get 55, 30, 25. Now it's 11:6:5 is the loss ratio that you are having. 11:6:5 is the loss ratio. But what ratio do we want the loss ratio to be? the loss ratio is supposed to be 3 to 1. But even if I am distributing in profit sharing ratio, the loss ratio is not 3 to 1. The loss ratio is 1165. So even if I distribute cash in capital ratio, the loss ratio what I am expecting to have 3 to 1 is not been, see, I'm not able to achieve that. And when I'm talking about profit sharing ratio, when I'm distributing the cash available with me in profit sharing ratio, still the loss is not in the profit sharing ratio of 3 to 1. This is what I want. The loss should be in the ratio of 3 is to 2 is to 1. I hope you I hope you are understanding what I'm trying to say. This is the two calculations we just did right now regarding the distribution of cash that is left with us to the partners with respect to their capital. Getting it? So yes, the loss ratio should be equal to profit sharing ratio. This loss ratio, what we are getting in the end, this must be in the ratio of 3 is to 2 is to 1, the profit sharing ratio. Getting it? So what am I trying to say is, the payment should not be made in capital or profit sharing ratio. The payment should be made in such a way that the amount unpaid to partners should be in profit sharing ratio. I'll just write this sentence for you all. The payment to partners should not be made in capital ratio or profit sharing ratio. The payment must be made in such a way that the amount unpaid to partners must be in profit sharing ratio. Okay, the amount unpaid, this one, the amount unpaid, this must be in PSR. So for that, there are two methods of doing this. Okay, there are two methods of doing this. One is the excess capital method. There are many more names. I'll just discuss with you all after this, but just understand this like this first. There are two methods of doing this: the excess capital method, and there is one more method, the maximum loss method or the notional loss method. Okay, now as of our the SY/BCom syllabus is concerned, we are having only one method, the excess capital method. So we will not be discussing about what maximum loss method is or what the notional loss method is. We are having just one method for our in as per our purview of syllabus is concerned, and that is excess capital method. So the excess capital method. Okay, now when we talk about excess capital method, what happens in excess capital method is, in this method the partner who has contributed the excess capital is paid first to the extent of his excess capital. What are the things? I'll just quantify the figures and I'll just let you know what the things are. But in this method, understand it like this way: the partner who has contributed excess capital, the extra capital over and above the required capital, is paid first to the extent of his excess capital. Okay, excess capital means what? Excess capital means the capital of partner which is over and above the capital required to be contributed by him on the basis of his share of profit. Okay, I will give you the example, don't worry about that, but understand it. Excess capital means that part of capital of a partner which is over and above the capital required to be contributed by him on the basis of his share of profit. You have all done this in your 12th SYJC. Okay, so this is not something new to you all. When you do it, you'll get to know. Now, to find the excess capital, how much extra a particular partner has paid, we need to prepare a statement known as statement of excess capital. Okay, so we have to prepare a statement of excess capital. So first we need to write a statement of excess capital. So let's see how that first looks like. Statement of excess capital. Okay, I'll just give you the format first and then we will use the above example, that is this one what we have discussed, and then let's see what is the excess capital what each partner has. Let's come up with that again. So particulars, the names of the partners as we have, supposing A, B, C. Then we are first supposed to write the capital balance first. So let us take the figures as right now. then we are supposed to write the profit sharing ratio, so it would be like x and x. Okay, then we are supposed to write the unit capital. Now how that is calculated, I'll just let you know, just give me one more minute. I'll just give the annotations like A, B, C. Now when we are supposed to find unit capital, how do we find unit capital? Is we are supposed to do A divided by B, and then we will get the unit capital. So in case of A, it would be this amount divided by this figure here, and then we will get a unit capital here. Similarly for B, it would be this divided by this, we would get a unit capital here, and similarly for C. After we get unit capital, we are supposed to find required capital. For this, let me do it XX right now. When the figures come, it would be very easy for me to let you know how required capital is calculated. Don't worry, we'll be quantifying this. I'm just giving you a statement first, how the statement actually looks like, and then after required capital we would be finding excess capital. And how excess capital is found is the capital balance that you have A minus the required capital that you have D, and then you get your excess capital. Okay, this is the statement of excess capital that we would be preparing. So first we have to write the capital balances of the partners, then we would be stating the profit sharing ratio. So these two things would be available to us from the question. After that, we are supposed to find unit capital. Just as I told you, how you calculate unit capital is A upon B, that is capital upon his share of profit. You get unit capital. Then we find required capital. Let me come with the figures first, and then I tell you how required capital is calculated. And after required capital is calculated, we find excess capital by subtracting the capital balances that a partner has by the required capital that he is supposed to have, and then we get the excess capital. Okay, I hope the statement is in front of everyone. Now let's quickly come with the figures. I'll just come up with the figures now. Okay, give me one moment. All right, so as we all knew, the partners capital balances was 1 lakh, 60 and 40. So the capital balances is 1 lakh, 60 and 40. Okay, and the profit sharing ratio was 3 to 1. Correct? I hope you all are with me. So we are preparing a statement of excess capital of the illustration that I have discussed with you all. So the capital balances of the partners was 1 lakh, 60 and 40. The profit sharing ratio is 3 to 1 that I have stated from the question. Now I am trying to find out the unit capital. Now I want your responses from your end. Quickly come up with the figures here. So unit capital is A upon B. So quickly divide 1 lakh by 3. What do you get? Quickly. Obviously you need to be ready with your calculus during the accountancy lectures, right? So what is unit capital of A? It's okay, let us take it as 33,333 for now. Let us ignore the decimals part. What about B? 60,000 divided by 2. Quite simple though, 30,000. And this is the most difficult one for all of us. It's 40,000 divided by 1, and we are having 40,000. Correct? I hope till unit capital everyone is clear. We got capital balances from the question. We got profit sharing ratio from the question. We calculated unit capital by simply dividing the capital balances by their respective profit sharing ratio. That is 1 lakh divided by 3, 60,000 divided by 2, and 40,000 divided by 1. We get these amounts. Now when I'm talking about required capital is calculated taking as something as the base capital. Okay, we are taking something called as base capital. Now base capital is the minimum of these three amounts. Which is the minimum of these three amounts is 30,000. Okay, so when I'm talking about required capital, it would be base capital, the least of three. Yes, remember, base capital is the least, the minimum of the three amounts, the 3 unit capital. So the base capital is 30,000, and when I'm talking about A, it would be 30,000 into his share of profit, that is 3. Okay, 30,000 the base capital into his share of profit 3 would give me his required capital, and that is 90,000. I hope this thing is clear with you all. Okay, the base capital, which is the minimum of 3, into the respective partner share of profit, would give you his required capital. Now similarly, when I go for B, base capital 30 multiply by his share of profit 2 would give me how much? 60,000. Then when I'm talking about C, base capital 30,000 into his share of profit 1, and that is 30,000. Yes or no? I hope that's clear, the required capital part. Okay, is this very much clear? Great. Now when I'm talking about excess capital, the formula is been mentioned, clearly mentioned here. It's A, the capital balance, minus D, the required capital. So for A, it's 10,000, B, nothing, nil, and C, that is 10,000 again. Alright, alright. So we have come to the conclusion that the excess capital in case of A is 10,000. B, he does not have any excess capital. It is as per the PSR required. And C is also having a excess capital of 10,000. So when it comes to payment, we need to pay first to whom? Still there is a confusion whether to A or to C. So for that we need to repeat this process again. So we would be repeating the same process again. So I'm just pasting that. Okay, just see that I'm just repeating the process again, the same entire process. What I've done right now, I would be repeating it again. So the profit sharing ratio for A is 3 and for C is 1. So the unit capital, in this case would be 3333, ignoring the uh, decimals. And when I'm talking about this, it's 10,000. Now again, required capital. Now when I'm talking about required capital, the minimum of 2 is obviously 3333. So this 3333 would be my base capital into my respective profit sharing ratio. So 333 into 3, again it's obviously 10,000, and 333 into 1 would be 333. Correct? Yes or no? Required capital would be 10,000 for A and 333 for C. I hope you are with me with this. Now when I'm talking about the excess capital, so in this case it would be this cap balance that we have, E minus H. So it would be 10,000 minus 10,000, it would be nil, and 10,000 minus 3333, it would be 6667. Okay, so our conclusion would be, since C is still having an excess capital of 6667, he would be paid first. So pay first to C up to 667, then pay A and C. Okay, A was having of 10,000, C was also having of 10,000, but out of 10,000 we have paid him 667, so 3333 would be paid to him and 10,000 to him. And then after that, if anything is left, then after pay in profit sharing ratio. Is that clear? Now this is the very basic example of the statement of excess capital. We need to have more discussion about that, but we would be doing that in our next lecture. Okay, till today we have got to know that the balance left with us, the cash, available cash for distributing to partners against their capital, must not be distributed in profit sharing ratio or capital ratio. It must be distributed in such a way that the balances unpaid is in profit sharing ratio. Okay, so there were two methods for doing this. One is the excess capital method and one is the notional loss method, but we are not discussing the second method. It's not in the purview of our syllabus, so we are going just with the excess capital. Excess capital has many more names. I would be giving you each and every details in the PPT that we all have, but today we need to do some analysis part. We need to understand why not in capital ratio, why not in profit sharing ratio, and why excess capital. So when it comes to excess capital, we need to first understand what is the statement of excess capital. So I give you a format of statement of excess capital, how it actually looks like, and how it is to be calculated. Now coming to that part, that the balances unpaid is in profit sharing ratio or not, that we will be discussing in the next class, since we are out of time right now. And yes, for you all to remember how to remember this, the format, we can have some annotations for this. Just give me one thing. You can just see how the words look like after capital balances. Just look for the word that is in front of you all. Okay, the word is pure. You can remember as this annotation, pure. PPT, I don't think that is we have discussed. This is not PPT basic. This is the Word file. So this is just an explanatory part. As far as the notes are concerned, the notes that we have provided to you all, you have the statement of excess capital in that. You have received the notes in your WhatsApp groups. Okay, so this is the way we can remember the annotations. PS, the statement of excess capital, you need to write the capital balances first, and then comes the annotation pure. You can write profit sharing ratio, unit capital, required capital, excess capital. Repeat the same step again. So we have again the pure thing again. We just need to keep puring the things. Okay, so this is what basically we wanted to discuss. There would be a little bit more of discussion about the excess capital, but we will have that in our next lecture. If there is any, yes, we would be discussing that. This is, I just gave you a overview of how the conclusion would be. This would be explained to you in detail in the next lecture. Don't worry about that. For now, your main motto was to understand how the statement of excess capital looks like and how we actually calculate here. If you have got this, it's good to go. We will have a discussion about this in the next class. So I hope this was clear to you all. This can be the end of lecture. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.